Welcome back to Based on a Book, the podcast that no one has ever called subtle. I'm your host, Crystal, and I hate how much I identify with villains.
I'm Keri, and I was not cleared for multiverse travel.
And I'm Lindsey, and I would totally follow a cat through a portal into another world.
This week we are continuing in the His Dark Materials series with Book 2, The Subtle Knife, and Season 2 of the BBC HBO show. This is going to be a 2-part discussion. You are currently in Part 1. Last season, we covered the Golden Compass in Season 1 of His Dark Materials. You should go listen to those episodes if you haven't. They're good. I'm a little biased. I think all our stuff is good, but I mean it. Check it out. At the very least, if you have not read that book or watched that season, you should stop here before I ruin it for you, because I'm about to recap. Okay, deep breath. There's a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot.
In the Golden Compass, we meet Lyra, a young girl in a parallel world run by the Magisterium, where souls live outside the body as animal companions called demons. Lyra stumbles upon a plot to kill her uncle, Lord Asriel, and from there, misadventures uncover dark forces at work. In an attempt to offer some form of protection, she is given the alethiometer, a truth teller from a scholar at Jordan College, but must keep it a secret and discover on her own how to use it. In her world, children have been disappearing, and she embarks on a quest to save her friend Roger, who has been kidnapped. A female scholar, Mrs. Coulter, offers to help, but Lyra quickly learns Mrs. Coulter cannot be trusted. She sets off on her own, unwittingly gathering allies, endearing people to her cause, wherever she may be. Lyra discovers a study by Mrs. Coulter is underway, backed by the Magisterium, and has been severing the demons from children to determine the origins of dust, something that only settles on adults. She rescues Roger, learns that Mrs. Coulter and Lord Asriel are actually her parents, and sets off to find Asriel and give him the alethiometer. Upon finding Lord Asriel, he kidnaps Roger, sets off in the night, severing Roger from his demon, killing him instantly, and uses the energy released to break open a rift to other worlds. Lyra then walks through the rift. I think that was it. I mean, there's a lot. Right. There's a lot. That is the Cliff's Notes version.
Yeah. I mean, that is broken down big time.
That was hard to really sum up. Anyways, were there any parts of book 1 or season 1 still on your minds as we go into this next book? Lindsey?
I'm still thinking about the demons, just in general. And King York.
Yeah.
That's my bear.
Mm-hmm. I know. Keri, was there anything that kind of stuck out to you and you've still been thinking on?
I was going to say the same thing. Just like the demons, that was something, honestly, going into this second season of the show specifically, because I had noticed in the first season how sometimes I wouldn't see a lot of demons with their person. And I wanted to see that stick out a little more, or maybe more reason why we couldn't see a demon with their person. So that was something that was very stuck in my mind from the first season of the show specifically.
I was definitely looking for them in season 2.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to see if it gets better as like we move forward in the show, or at least like more explanation if we're not seeing them as much. So
I think for me, the show introduced a little bit more of the Mrs. Coulter character, and I am definitely interested in more of her story and her perspective. So I was glad to see we do get that in season 2, because that was something that was really on my mind. But with that in mind, how do we rate the book? I want to start with Keri.
Oh no. Okay. I listened to the audiobook again. I listened to the first book in the series on audio. And if we remember last time, I really did kind of struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't struggling so much with the story this time because, I'm, invested in the world. I'm understanding how this world works. We broke it down in 3 parts. So, like, we know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave this 2.5 specters because I don't know why. I just really like that name. I like specters. But really, I started this like 2.5 weeks ago. And I just finished it recently because I really struggled with the pacing of this.
Yeah.
And it dragged bad. This book, there is a lot happening, but it just was not very, for my personal taste, not super exciting.
Mhm.
First half, not very exciting. Second half gets a little bit better, hence my like 2.5. But it just like, I really struggled to finish this book. I was struggling big time.
I
For
feel that.
sure.
What did you think, Lindsay?
I have to agree. The pacing was difficult, and I really struggled through the first half of the book. It did pick up about the middle, and then again, somewhere between like the 88% and the 96%. I did get more invested. I was in the story.
Yeah.
And then there was just so much going on, and we're going between so many different worlds, and I can't remember the names of the worlds, and I'm having to remind myself, where are we?
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, I gave this one 2 missing fingers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I also listened to the audiobook, which this audiobook is narrated by Philip Pullman with a full cast. If you guys are interested in checking it out, you can visit the affiliate link in our show notes to Libro FM, our favorite place to get audiobooks that also supports local bookstores. The audio for this series is possibly some of the best audiobook material I've ever listened to. It's amazing.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
I give this book 4 specters. Okay, first of all, we all know I'm all about world travel, time travel, timeline, all that jazz. I love
Totally.
that crap. So this is right up my alley. Second of all, like we got like demons and witches and magic, so I'm already just in it. But I feel like after having read the first book, like I agree, there was so much going on in that one. It was a little bit hard to keep up sometimes or keep track of where you were, who we were with, or which characters were who, because we had a couple of different Tonys. Was it Tonys? I can't remember. But
yeah, that first book had like 3 characters with the same name.
Right? But I think because I already kind of knew the vast majority of the characters, I understood the world a little bit better. I had a little bit easier job keeping track of who was who and where we were and what was going on. And I feel like this was where book 1, they had to explain the world, they had to explain the magic, they had to explain or whatever was going on. They had to explain the dust. I already knew all that. So there wasn't a ton of explaining anymore. And the little bit that there was, I think, was introduced in a really nice way. The couple of new characters we get were introduced in a really good way for me. So for me, I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to deny that there's still a lot going on and it was still a little twisty, but it hits the science-y part and the fantasy parts that I really, really love. So for me, it was a 4. And Spectres, I agree that they're just cool.
Yeah.
Weird.
While I was reading it, the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, this is totally up Crystal's alley. The entire time.
That's fair. That's fair.
Totally.
Speaking of characters and keeping track of characters, season 1 of the show did introduce Will Perry. That was not present in the first book, but he is who opens the second book. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and drop the spoiler alert for book 2, season 2. If you haven't read The Subtle Knife or watched season 2 of his Dark Materials, you might want to stop here and go do that before coming back, because we are about to discuss the first half of the book and the first 3 episodes of the season. Because we already know in the show who Will Perry is, we start out on episode 1 in Shitagazhi. In the book, though, we're still learning about who Will is. We're just now introduced to Will.
Yeah, I like that they did that. I like that they, trickled that into the first season because it doesn't feel so abrupt when we're
Agreed.
starting the second season. I was like, okay, that makes total sense. And that makes this transition feel a lot more comfortable because guess what? We're about to go into this second season in the second book. All those people we were with in that first season, first book,
Gone.
gone. Most of them, we don't ever
Gone.
see these people again.
Right? Like,
I was actually shocked by that.
There's no Yorick in the book.
No
Egyptians. No,
No.
like they're all the Egyptians aren't even in the show this season. They're not in the book. They're not in the show. We're done with them. You know,
a lot of characters are not here anymore, and we are in completely different worlds, different, situations going on, but the way that they're transitioning it in the show, I think is really well done.
because I do feel like the Subtle Knife, the book, because we open with Will in Will's world, it almost that feels abrupt because we just left this amazing, other Oxford, other world with demons and dust and the magisterium and airships and talking bears and witches, and now we're in our own, like what feels like probably our own world.
Yeah.
It's a very quick, abrupt thing, and for the most part, we had no reason to expect that.
Yeah, you're
Whereas
like,
in
who
the
is you?
show- right, exactly. Whereas in the show, we kind of get that trickled in at the last half of the season. So I really like that. And the show opens in Chitagazzi. Like, what did you guys think of how that looked? Just the visual. How
It's
did you feel
beautiful.
like that was kind of what you expected?
Yeah. I think the book, I give like kind of a low rating to the book. I have a complete opposite feeling about the show. I have a completely opposite feeling about the show. The show is more my cup of tea. Like, I like the elements that the book is giving me.
Mhm.
Like, I like the storyline. I just, for my personal taste, I like a lot of like more character driven elements in a story. You know what this kind of reminds me of? I'm kind of going off topic just a tiny bit. But this is reminding me of, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, but when I read the first book in Wheel of Time, and then I saw the first season of the adaptation of Wheel of Time, and then I noticed a lot of people that had watched the show and was like, "Oh, I should go read the book so I could like see these relationships more developed and these characters, like more about these characters. Like I want to see like this person with this person and more of, the background of these characters." I'm like, "You're not going to find that in the book." The book is like more surface level
Mhm.
of, if you're looking for deeper character relationships, the book isn't going to give you that. It's giving you more of adventure,
Right.
and the show is actually giving you more emotional depth of these characters.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this book versus the TV show of His Dark Materials.
No, absolutely. This book is surface level, and this show is a deep dive.
Yeah. And I would say it's a deep dive of the characters. I don't know if it's a deep dive of necessarily the magic or in
Right.
the world, but I would say of the characters, the show gives more of a deep dive.
I think, do you guys remember in last season when we covered The Golden Compass, the movie, and we talked about how like the movie eliminated so much of the religious undertones of the
Mhm.
storyline that even Philip Pullman was like, it took out the soul of the
Yeah.
story. I feel like they went in the opposite direction with the series, and there is so much religious and government commentary in this series. It's you can't, the religious overtones and undertones and just tones, it's so in your face. And because we start seeing inside the magisterium,
Yeah.
we did not see that in the movie. We definitely didn't see it in the movie, and we don't see it in the book. We're starting to see the backside of what's going on inside the magisterium. We're seeing what's going on with Mrs. Coulter. We're seeing what's going on, with a lot of these characters and side storylines that we barely get mentioned in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love that.
Like you just said, I feel like this show adds more soul to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And like we just said before, in the very first world that we're seeing, this new world, there is almost like an extra element to it where it just like feels more emotional. Like
Yeah.
when you're first seeing it and they're first encountering it and your Lyra and Will are meeting each other for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
There is more like emotional like investment going on here versus the book, in my opinion.
Right. So I feel like a good chunk, the first couple of chapters of the book, are setting us up with Will Perry, how, who he is, his relationship with his mother, who is mentally unwell, not necessarily attached to reality, suffering some mental health issues. And because we already got that in season 1, we don't get that in season 2. And we start right off the bat, episode 1, in Shitagazzi, and Lyra and Will meet. So, Lindsey, what did you think of that moment when Pan, Lyra's demon, says hello to Will?
I was really excited. I like when stories collide like that. I like the intertwining things. I was also confused about Pan speaking to Will because I didn't
Right?
think that happened.
Well, and I mean, I feel like demons aren't supposed to talk to other people.
Right.
So, right off the bat, for him to do that was just like a shocker to me.
Mm-hmm.
But even Lyra didn't seem shocked. Did you know? She just seemed kind of like, shut up, Pan, annoyed more than anything, until she
Yeah.
realized that Will didn't have a demon.
Because I think that the only other demon that he spoke to was Roger's demon.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Demons can speak to each other, but demons can't speak to other people.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that was really an odd one. I feel like in the book, I think this was handled. Lyra was a little bit more innocent still at that point because she was willing to buddy up with Will right away.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the show, she is very mistrustful. She's, she's like, I don't see your demon, I'm out.
Yeah.
And that seemed a little weird to me because we know that she is a little bit more accepting of people who don't have demons. We already knew that part. I don't know. I like that we see Pan pushing her. Hey, dude, you're going to have to try. Hey, maybe we have to think outside the box here.
Mm-hmm.
We also, in the first episode, see the witches deciding their course of action. I feel like in the book, even though we see, of course, Serafina Pekkala is back, the queen of whatever group of witches, and we are introduced to Ruta Scotty, who is another witch queen from the Southern Witches, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, I feel like this is very, although they have two different ideas about how to go about their goal, they're kind of respectful of okay, you do this and I'll do this, and then we'll meet up when we can and see how that works out. In the show, it's almost like there's conflict, that Serafina Pekkala doesn't like what Ruta Scotty's going to do. Ruta Scotty thinks that Serafina is, wanting to go after Lyra and protect Lyra, is just like a side quest, and no, we need to be helping Lord Asriel. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. They're also very aware that Lyra is a part of something.
Yes.
They are aware that she is a part of some type of prophecy. The witches are a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that we have a lot more witches.
I do too.
And I remember us when we were covering the first season, the first book, we're like, I hope we get more witches. I hope we get more. Well, we got more witches.
We got more witches.
We got a lot more witches. For sure.
So the witches do decide at some point that Seraphina Pekkala they're gonna go find and protect Lyra because she is part of this prophecy. Ruta Scotty basically is like, I'm gonna go save this other witch that I know is trapped. We find out Lee Scoresby is with the witches. He decides he's going to go find Stanislaus Grumman because he has heard that Stanislaus Grumman has a weapon or some sort of device that can protect anyone. And he wants to find that device so that he can help protect Lyra. So he's out hunting for Stanislaus Grumman. Mrs. Coulter's got a witch, and she is interrogating her on an airship. And Ruta Scotty in the show shows up. In the book, it's Seraphina Pekkala who shows up and saves her. But this witch is being interrogated.
Made me cry.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect this part to actually make me cry, but it made me really emotional because it was like she's being tortured, information out of her, and like the witch comes to let her be free and basically to kill her so she doesn't have to be tortured anymore. And she's like, you can be free now. And I actually got super emotional at that part.
I think this is another one of those moments where we are introduced to a different idea of death, of rather than death being this scary thing, death being this, peaceful, beautiful release thing. Because they waited until this witch called out for, I can't remember the name of their death god or death goddess, to come, Yada Kembe. I think it's Kembe. I could be wrong. But asking for her to come, and that's when Seraphina in the book, that's when Ruta Scotty in the show release her from this life.
I have chills thinking about in the show seeing her her and her demon diving through the clouds to get to her
and materializing right in front of her, and time slowing down for that second. Yeah, it was beautifully done.
Yeah.
And then just like in the book and in the movie, what really caused me to tear up was not the witch dying, but her demon.
Every time.
Every
single time.
Anything that happens to the demons, anything, I'm done.
Yep. Yeah, and it's because it's like the way that it's done in the show, and they kept it this way, like how they do in the first season, is the demon fading into dust whenever they die, and it hurts me. It hurts me bad.
Yep. And I mean, but their demon is their soul. The death of someone's soul. This isn't just it's meant to be dramatic. It is meant to affect you, and it sure as hell does.
Yeah.
Also, as in the show, but not in the book, again, we get to see more of the Magisterium in the show. Cardinal Starrock, whatever, the cardinal, is on the airship, and the witch stabs him on her way out. Ruta Scotty stabs him on her way out.
That was so cool.
See ya.
It was so cool. She waited, and he comes around the corner. She's like, bam, just right in the chest. It was perfect.
Just anytime you see the witches moving and they're vanishing and reappearing, I thought that was so cool.
It's so neat. If I want to be that kind of witch, you know? But that kind of wraps up what's going on in episode 1. Episode 2 is called The Cave. Lyra and Will go into Will's world, which is basically our world, but honestly, I don't want to assume. There's a lot. It could be a different world. It's Will's world.
It definitely feels like it's our world.
Right.
And they don't have, and this is the part I'm actually really enjoying this part where it's this dynamic of where, Lyra's world has demons. And then she's navigating into Will's world, and Will is like, what the heck is a demon? And you're going into this other world that does not have people with demons unless you're traveling into this world from
Right.
Lyra's world. So she's having to hide her demon in this world. And she's like thinking it's very bizarre that these people don't have demons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an interesting thing to navigate
And
in
yet
the
somehow,
book and in the show.
right? And yet somehow she gets into Will's world, which has an Oxford just like her world. And so the minute she gets there, she starts to recognize some things because some things are the same. And she runs and she takes off because she knows exactly what scholar she needs to find to help her figure out what's going on with Dust, only to discover that there is no Jordan College in this Oxford. So Will and Lyra separate. Will's going to go handle a few things that he needs to handle. Lyra ducks off into some random museum to read the alethiometer. She's spotted. Somebody sees her, introduces himself as Charles Lantrum, asks her, are you interested in, the skulls that they're looking at or whatever? And she, being Lyra, kind of fakes her way through the conversation and dips. But this guy is, she's saying to herself, I think so there's something weird about him. I can't quite place it. Now in the show, we all know that's Lord Boreal.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, girl, run.
This is not a good person.
That was one thing I did like about the book, is that we have no idea who this man is.
Mm-hmm.
He's just some older man who's talking to Lyra in the museum, and he helps her. And yeah, it was very surprising when it was revealed who he was.
I've lost my pause. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we see that Lyra figures out who she needs to go see because she used the alethiometer, and she finds her way to Dr. Mary Malone, who has a picture of a mountain on the door because the alethiometer told her to go to the door with the mountain
and
on
to
it.
Tell her the
truth. And so she just right up walks in there and she's like, my name's Lyra. I'm from another world. Do you study dust? Can you help
she's like,
me?
Tell me about dust.
Yeah.
What do you know about dust?
She's very now in the book, she's very just like drops all this word vomits. In the show, she's a little bit more subdued of like, I don't know how to explain myself. This is gonna be crazy, but I gotta get this out.
Something that I've noticed between the book and the show is, to me, when I'm reading the book, Lyra feels much more like juvenile.
Yes.
Like she feels so much younger in the book.
Yeah.
In the show, I'm not going to say she feels a lot older, but she definitely feels a little more mature.
We get a lot more emotional depth of her in the show, which I think is not good, honestly, because the idea is that she is still a child. She is still innocent. Her demon has not settled. Dust will not collect on her. And because, she is Daphne Keane, the actress, they really wanted to record these seasons quickly because they know she's going to grow. And the idea is that she's still a child in the story. But she still looks young, but because they gave her character so much more emotional depth, it's almost like she's acting older. And so I don't think this was any indication of her ability as an actress. I think it was very much written in a way that this character acts more emotionally with a little bit more depth and consideration. Whereas in the book, we still have this childlike innocence of not really caring about everybody else, this one-track mind of needing to do what she wants to do. Even being careless in, showing Will that lying's easy. Check this out. And being very childlike. And we don't see that in the show. And that would be my one big criticism of the show is that.
I agree too. I think also I think about the fact that it's almost when I go back and forth about it, because when I'm reading the book and she's having to go do all these adult things.
Right.
but the way that she's acting, I can imagine it makes more sense to me in the TV series that she is capable of doing all these adult things
Mm-hmm.
for like being more mature.
Right.
But like I get what you're saying, that like for the purpose of the story and the fact that she should probably be younger considering
Right.
everything else going on.
But Lyra does meet Dr. Malone. They use the cave, which is Dr. Malone's big computer that she is using to help to attempt to communicate with dark matter particles, which we discover is dust. At this point, in back in the original world, Lyra's world, the witches have sent an envoy to the magisterium, to a peace envoy, to basically say, hey, Ruta Scotti acted on her own. That was a lone witch. That was not us. They basically are like, no, we don't believe you. You're all heretics. And they imprison him. And then Mrs. Coulter uses that moment to convince Father McPhail to attack the witches. And they blow up and drop bombs all over the witch territory in their like home territory. Will, on the other hand, in his little, errands, was attempting to try to get some more funds by discovering the trustees or the administrators of the trust that has been making payments to his mom's account. He meets with them, discovers he has grandparents. I don't remember this in the book. Did I
I
just
don't remember it either.
No.
Now he does attempt to go to like some bankers or something to figure out like, hey, where can I just get some money out of this account? And they were basically like, no. In the show, he goes to the lawyer that administers his trust. She's like, I can't give you this money without an adult. The way your grandparents have this set up. And he was like, wait, my grandparents? And so he goes to visit them and meet them for the first time, only to find out that, the bad guys, Lord Boreal's goon squad, has already been in contact with them. And so he's running back. Lyra realizes, oh crap, I've spent way too much time in this cave with this crazy lady. I gotta go. And they run back and meet back in Chittagazzi, right?
Did you notice that Mary Malone's script was written in Python?
No.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because she's the serpent, but that's in another episode. Hold on. We're almost
I like
there.
that connection. I will say I really like the actor who plays Will, Mir Wilson. I think that's how you say his name. But I think he does such a great job as Will.
Absolutely.
I think the friendship between Will and Lyra that develops is so good and just really well played out on screen.
Mhm.
I just really like them both, and I think he brings Will's character to life very, very well. I really, really like it.
Absolutely. So we were introduced to a couple of new characters, or at least deeper into some characters here. Of course, we get Father McPhail, who is desperately trying to position to replace the Cardinal that just died. And also Father Graves, who we don't get to talk to as much, but we hear about him being like McPhail's biggest competition for the position of Cardinal. And of course, we get Dr. Mary Malone in there. And we get Angelica and Paula, the two kids in Chittagazzi that Will and Lyra have run into. They at first seem to be very standoffish, a little confused right away. They're like, you're not from here. It's an odd, like, we're not going to be your friend, but we're not your enemies either situation. Right up until in the book, this is the part where Will and Lyra come back and they hear the screeching of a cat, and these kids are attacking this cat. And Will, like, is about to just, like, he's just about to go off on these kids, and he rescues this cat, and Pan turns into a Wolverine tiger. I don't like. It was a different creature in the show and in the book. Either way, Pan's like, we're on. All these kids are like, what the hell is this creature?
Mm-hmm.
And they split. But now they've got this random cat, this tabby cat, which doesn't play as big of a role in the show. And honestly, I'm kind of sad about it. Of all the roles they expanded in this show,
Yeah.
we hardly see anything about the cat.
And the cat was the whole reason Will got into the world in the first place.
Right?
Mhm.
So I think that's part of what Will felt a little protective of the cat, because the cat's who led him to what he considers to be a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
But Angelica and Paula are also the ones who explain to Will and Lyra that there are specters in this world. And that's why there's no grown-ups. That the specters will attack grown-ups, but they don't attack kids. Kids can't even see them. And we start to learn a little bit that these specters basically eat dust. And as far as we can kind of tell, or the interpretation that I'm taking, is they kill your demon.
Mm-hmm.
So Angelica mentions to Will that, like, hey, you're getting close to that age.
Yeah. You're getting close to being a little dusty.
Dusty, crusty, musty.
Yeah. You're getting a little dusty.
So in episode 3, this is called Theft, we see a mysterious, hooded, shadowed figure whispering and summoning Lee Scoresby to him. Ooh.
Ooh, wonder who could it be?
Right? Lyra returns for a second time to Dr. Malone, but is nearly caught. Lord Boreal's goons have already figured out that she stopped by to see Dr. Mary Malone. And so Dr. Malone tries to warn Lyra, but too late. The goons are already there. And they catch her admitting that she has been hanging out with Will.
Whenever she says it in the show and her face like completely drops.
Yep.
When she brings up his name.
So good.
It was so good.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
Lee Scoresby, on his way to find Stanislaus Grumman, gets caught. In the book, he stops at like 6 different places. He's really hunting this guy down. He's stopping at taverns. He's stopping at, different ports and places, asking questions, and basically tells everybody he owes me money. And everybody kind of is like, oh, well, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We hear he's up that way, or I heard this about him, or whatever. And even finds out that he goes by different names.
Mm-hmm. Well, we thought Grumman was dead, right? He was supposedly the head that Azrael had in season 1.
Right. So everybody's, and a lot of people are saying, oh no, that guy's dead. I heard he died. I heard whatever. But a few people are like, nah, no, not
Wait,
Grumman.
so why is he trying to find him in the first place?
Because he's heard a rumor that Stanislaus Grumman has a weapon that can protect anyone. So basically, he thinks Grumman has this subtle knife. He doesn't know that it's called the subtle knife, but that's what he thinks. Turns out Grumman just knows about the subtle knife.
Yeah.
But again, Lee doesn't know that yet.
Well, also,
and he doesn't know. He doesn't know he's being summoned either.
Right.
Grumman is summoning him.
Right. In the show, Lee gets caught. Kind of right away, he asks somebody about Grumman, and they're like, "You're a heretic," and because he's like some magisterium dude, and like they have a little shootout, whatever. Lee kills him. Didn't mean to. He didn't shoot to kill. He was just shooting to save his own self, and well, it worked a little too good. And this is so different in the show than in the book. We get this completely added storyline that I still don't know how I feel about it, of Mrs. Coulter being in the same town where Lee Scoresby is being held and making a point to go interrogate him. And we learn a little bit more backstory on Lee and how he was raised in an abusive family. And basically Lee Scoresby is like, you won't, Mrs. Coulter tries to torture him for information about where Lyra is. And he's basically, pain won't break me. Pain will never break me. And you know it won't break me because you're the same as I am. And like implies that she's also was raised by an abusive family. We get no indication of that in the book. This scene is not in the book.
Can I say something about this scene?
Yes, please.
I love this scene. I love this scene because I love hating Mrs. Coulter.
Yeah.
I think Mrs. Coulter is one of my favorite villains that I've ever read about, that I've ever watched. I love Mrs. Coulter. Maybe it's because it's played by Ruth Wilson. I don't know. But Mrs. Coulter is the like coolest villain I've ever seen. And yeah, she's evil. Like she's not a good person.
She's completely unhinged.
And she is completely unhinged. But adding this scene, like I could not take my eyes away from this scene.
See,
And it was just like crazy, and the way it was totally unexpected, and I am desperate in this book for something about Mrs. Coulter and what the heck is going on with Mrs. Coulter. So I am like
it's not there.
grasping at anything. So the fact that they added this into the TV series, I loved it. Because I'm desperate for it. I need something because I think she's more than a villain. Like she's very complex. Like there's like the Magisterium. Like the Magisterium, that's the villain. We don't need to know any backstory about
Whatever,
that
yeah.
villain. Like fuck that villain. Okay. But Mrs. Coulter, that's a different kind of villain. That's a very complex, weird villain.
Mhm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, there is so much weird stuff where it's like, there's a scene where, like, you hate her. Like, screw that lady. And then there's a scene that you're like,
around.
and you kind of like her. Like, you're kind of like, wait, what's wrong with her? Is she
Right.
okay?
So like you can see it. Ruth Wilson, like
Mhm.
like chef's kiss. Like what?
Yes. What the heck?
Because
Like, I could talk about this for days.
she's so unhinged, right? She goes in there, she interrogates him, she's pissed off, she's yelling, she's like trying to break him. He's basically breaking her.
Yes. And he's the one that's like chained up.
He's chained up. And then she has this like moment and she leaves, and then she comes back later, knocks out her and her demon, knock out the guard, and toss the keys at Lee, and is like, you fought the guard for these. And then like, so how you hate her? She's unhinged, but then she helps Lee escape.
And then she walks, I love this part. She walks away, right? And she goes and she just like stares at the wall. And she has this moment with her demon because she has a weird ass relationship with her demon that we don't see with any other even the most evil people
but
in
call
this
it what
story.
it is. She has a weird relationship with her soul.
Exactly. I got chills.
It's just so hard to see the way she treats her demon.
Yes, it's how she treats herself.
It hurts me.
Yes, it's how she treats herself. And she has this moment where she's being vulnerable with herself and she's staring at the wall, and her demon, and she never like is like nice to her demon. And
there's no physical contact.
She lets her demon hold her hand for like a second at that moment because she had this moment with Lee. And I was like, oh my God, where is this in the book? This is what I'm saying, is that when they add soul to the TV series, this is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
This is not in the book.
And Mrs. Coulter, everything she does is for Lyra. And she interrogates Lee and learns and realizes that he loves her like a daughter, just like Mrs. Coulter does.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like her deeming him
worth saving.
Worthy of saving Lyra, basically.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, I'm going to let him out of here so he can do something too and help me get to her. Right. Even if it's not for the same cause that I'm doing it for, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And we still see in the future that she's doing bad things.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like these
in
little
this moment,
moments.
Yep.
It's so like, oh my gosh, it's so complex. And I'm just like, why is this stuff not in the book? It drives me insane.
Philip Pullman did have a lot of input in this. So,
Mhm.
like, this is not something that I think that he was opposed to by any means.
I would read a book just about Mrs. Coulter. I'd read a whole book about it.
You never know.
Mhm.
So Lyra does manage to get away from the goon squad, but only because, Mr. Charles Lantrum shows up to pick her up and save her. But
Mhm.
again, that's no freaking Charles. That's Lord Boreal.
Mm-mm.
And she gets in the car with him. She says, "Where can I take you?" He drops her off. She realizes she forgot her bag, reaches back for her bag, and heads back to Shitagotsi, only to realize the alethiometer is not in her bag.
I was screaming.
She is very upset.
Screaming.
She is very upset. Gets back to, Will comes through. They sit for a minute. She explains what happened, but we're in trouble now. We're in trouble. But I think this is a good place to stop. That's it for part 1. While you're waiting for part 2, head to the link in our bio and submit your favorite book adaptation. Next season, we will choose 3 listener submissions to cover, so get your ideas in now. Who knows? We might pick yours. Don't forget to follow us on our socials to get the latest adaptation news, extra book reviews, and a good dose of hilarious with some clips, memes, fun facts, and conversations. Join us next week as we follow Will and Lyra in their attempt to get the knife, recover the alethiometer, and then, with the witches, Lee Scoresby, Mrs. Coulter, the specters, and a pack of feral kids, Lyra and Will even stand a chance. Who is the creepy man whispering for Lee Scoresby? We'll find out in the next chapter of Based on a Book. Bye.
Bye.